Welcome to our class today. We're going to be taking a look at the neck, especially when you have a stiff neck. You just did too much exercise the previous day, or you slept on your neck and you wake up with a lot of pain and not being able to move that neck. So that, we're going to just take a look at 3 important things that we can do to release that pain, to create more space in the neck so that you can start healing and actually get rid of your pain much faster. So I'm going to show you how to do it using the wall, but also a really nice way to do it at home with any door that you have. So we'll take a look at that. So okay, let's get to it. So first thing that we can do is start working with the neck, warming it up. So the best thing that you can do with a stiff neck is definitely not to just not move. So move the neck, make sure that you stretch it. It'll definitely be painful, but it'll help you progress. And I have had to go back to school, so I'm actually working on my graduate degree. And this has been finals week, so last week I couldn't move my neck, maybe because of a little bit more extra stress. Also, I hadn't practiced as much, so I came back for my practice and I pushed my boundaries a little bit too much, and so I woke up not being able to move. So I'm pretty familiar what that feels like, and I know my neck. When I get a stiff neck, I know that it's not a more serious injury. So if you've never gotten a stiff neck before, get it checked out before. But if you know the kind of pain that you have, that it really is just a muscular thing that will eventually subside, then go ahead and do these exercises. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to use a blanket. And I'm going to place this blanket on my mat or on the carpet is okay because it won't slide. Okay, so place a blanket here so that you have a little bit of support for your head. Put this here. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this and then other release techniques for the neck. So here I'm going to put the top of my head on my blanket and I'm going to sit on my knees here and put the top of the head on the blanket. If you need more height here, go ahead and add more height, but we're going to start here. So here we go. And then here I'm going to use the traction of the blanket to stretch the back of the head. So I'm going to roll the head and stretch the back of the neck. And then breathe. And stretch the back of the neck like this. And breathe for a few breaths here. And come up. And so you can notice when you do this, you can add a sticky mat to get more tension and eventually stretch the head more and more. But what you'll notice is if you're holding your breath while you're doing this, are there holding patterns or are there really tight spots in the back of the neck? And you can breathe into those spots while you're in this pose. So you put the head down and you use a little bit of tractions to stretch the back of the neck. And then you'll start noticing it. Am I holding my breath? Can I breathe here in this pose and start releasing this tension in the back of the neck? If being down on the floor is too much, you can do it on the chair where you do the same thing on height. You can use a little sticky mat here. Okay, and stretch the back of the head. Okay, so this especially when the neck is painful. It'll give you really good information on how far you can push and where you stop, and you just breathe into the pain and you release, release, and release. So very effective, very simple, great little tool to have when you have that pain in the neck. And it's a nice way to stretch the neck also. Just don't put too much, too much pressure. Start slow and then slowly start releasing that pain and that tension. Okay. Now, the second thing that I will show you, if you have a regular practice and you practice Tri-konasana, I'll show you a way to practice that pose that can really, really help the neck. So I would use a chair here. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll get into Tri-konasana, and I'll do the right side first. So feet apart, turn the right foot forward, and you will come down onto your pose here. And you can use this chair to support your head. Okay, here. We'll use a blanket. Okay. So here we go. Okay, blanket and sticky mat. Even do it like this. So practice your Tri-konasana. Rest the head here. And then, okay, once you have the positioning of the chair, then you're going to use your fingers here. And you're going to stretch the neck. Okay. And come up. Okay, so hopefully you could see that. I can move it a little bit closer and show you a close-up of how to use the fingers to stretch the back of the head and really start releasing the tension in the neck. So, let's see. Okay. So here I place my fingers along the neck here, and I catch it right underneath the skull there, and I bring it up. So using Tri-konasana to start releasing the neck and strengthening the head, but use a support if the neck is very sore. Okay. So let's do the other side here. So you can find a ledge like a counter or a table that you have, and you can use that to rest your head in, and then slowly go in with the hand and lengthen the muscles behind the head. So I'll do it again here. Come into, a good Tri-konasana. Rest the head. And then lengthen the back of the neck. Okay. Feet forward and come together. So like any of these poses, is a really great idea to practice lengthening the neck before you have a stiff neck or before it hurts. And to obviously, of course, also prevent these injuries. But then once the neck does hurt, you're familiar with that movement. Okay, so first we do the head exercise, the tractioning the neck. We can work on Tri-konasana, and I would do, maybe 10 reps of Tri-konasana on each side. And then, of course, okay, so we grab a belt, and let me move this computer closer for you to see better. Okay, here we go. Okay, so get your mat to the wall here so you don't slide. And I'm going to show you how to use the belt in uttanasana or wall hang to work on the length of the head. So grab a belt. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here on the video. So if I remove the hair out of the way, okay, I'm going to grab the belt and it's going to go just along the ears here. It's going to go like this. Okay, so here I have my shoulders. Usually with the stiff neck, the shoulders are tight also. So I'm going to release the shoulders. I'm going to breathe and I'm going to just pull the belt up very gently. And then breathe and release. All right, and release the shoulders like that. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing, but in uttanasana. So start out with wall hang, where I'm here, feet on the mat, and you can have the feet hip width apart. And rest on the wall, and then I'm going to come down and you can adjust. You can have about a foot's distance away from the wall or a little bit more. So you'll adjust and then come down slowly. You take a few deep breaths here. And we're going to put the belt around the head and give yourself a little bit of traction here. So then releasing the back, releasing the eyes, the ears, and the throat. Giving your neck a little bit of length. And then just in uttanasana, we can do this too. Lengthening the neck. We're making sure that you're not holding your breath. So inhaling, releasing the eyes, the ears, and the throat. Okay, and then we can just come up. Okay, so hopefully you can try this one. It's an easy one. You can take the strap anywhere you go and do this exercise where you use the belt to give yourself a little bit of traction without force, just a gentle pull, and start getting a little bit of that length back on the neck. So, okay, so you have those 3 tools that you can do with your asana. So now I'm going to show you a way to tie the belt on yourself. If you don't have a belt, you can use a really long scarf or any anything that you have. It doesn't have to be a yoga belt. And this, sometimes the skin of the back is sort of attacking the neck, especially when everything is tight and it just hurts and there's no relief, especially if you have to sit for long periods of time or be in a car. It's excruciating. So I'll show you how to tie this. You can wear it all day and you can just pull it and you get immediate relief on that pain on the neck. So let's go over it together on how to put this, we can call it the neck jacket. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my belt and I'm going to, if I have a long one or a long scarf or whatever you're going to use, right, I fold it in half so that I have the half. I grab the halfway point here and I put it right in the middle of the chest and I have this belt here around my chest. Okay, so have that, put the tail ends towards the back, and then I'm going to bring the tail ends forward. So there we go. Okay, like this, and making sure that we get the least amount of this twisting. So here I have this. Okay, there it is. Okay, so the strap goes through the front, around the back. Okay, now I'm going to join them together. So I join them together, and I'm going to tuck it under that first strap. Yeah, so this is going under like that. Okay, now I'm going to send these guys to the back. Okay, so I just send the tails to the back, and I send the strap that was here, I push that over my head into the back. Okay, so then what I have is this in the front, and I'll show you the back. Okay, and this in the back. So I want this knot here as high up on my neck as I can. So, it just takes a few turns to do this, and then I bring it close together like this. Okay, and then I pull the back down. Okay, really releasing the neck. There we go. So here is my, tight neck that's just bunching up. My back muscles are bunching up towards the neck, attacking my neck, and I bring those down. Okay. And I get immediate relief on the neck. So it's a great posture. You can use this for a lot more than just stiff necks, but then you just bring it down, just making sure that it's, you give yourself a little bit of, you release it every now and then, because you don't want to block, all of the blood vessels going underneath the armpit, and you don't want to damage this sensitive area underneath the armpit. So don't tighten too much, but you can definitely see, the benefit of this belt, and you can practice your poses using this jacket. You can sit down on a chair and then just sit on the belt. Now you can tuck the belt underneath, and you can sit here and you can do your work and have better posture. So you can do this, and this, it's not an expensive gadget or anything. It's just a belt. You can carry it with you to work and just use this to improve your posture, but also it really, really helps relieve stiff necks. And I'll show you. You can always extend it. With these belts, you can add more belts here, and then you can step on it, and you can stand and release your back that way. So here, I just made it a little bit bigger, and I'll show you. Okay, so now I can step here and step here. I'll show you. Okay, so I have this stiff neck jacket, and I can step on it and stand very, very straight. This relieves the neck. So if anybody does have a stiff neck and you do this, let me know how it goes for you. If you actually, if it has helped you. All right, so you can do your poses here. Just releasing the back. And then making sure that you allow the flow of the veins and the arteries there. Okay, so now you can do your yoga poses where you can step on the belt there. Right. Okay. So you see the benefits of this jacket. You can use it on your yoga poses. You can explore and play with it and see what else you can use it for other than just stiff necks. But actually, it's wonderful for a stiff neck. Just give yourself a little bit of a pull here and there and release that tension. And usually it allows the neck to heal much faster. Okay, for the last thing that we're going to do today, we're going to take a look at how to use a belt on, I'm going to show it to you on this wall, but also how to do it at home if you don't have a yoga wall, how to do it on your door or on any kind of place that you can tie a belt. So to do it on your door, I'm just going to show you the concept of it, and then you'll see. Okay, so to do it on the door, I'm just going to grab my belt, right? That I'm going to use. I'm going to loop it. I open the door, and I bring the belt around like this. Okay, so then I have a belt there. Oh, that's kind of a messy room out there. It is laundry day for my kids. Okay, and so now you have this belt that you can do the exercise that I'm gonna show you on the wall. You can do it here using the wall, and lock it because in case someone opens the door. All right, so then you'll have this, and you can use this instead of the rope wall. And you can use this to many other uses of the rope wall. You can use it like this on your door, given that if your door is going to hold your weight, right? So you can use that instead of a rope wall. Instant rope wall. Okay, so let's look at this now. All right, so I'm going to move my mat so that I have my mat on the floor here. Okay. And when I do this for my neck, I personally like these belts better than this one because these are a little bit, okay, I don't want to use an elastic band at all. But these have a little bit more give than this one. And that little give gives a little bit better tug on the neck. So with an elastic band, I would be careful because you don't want to get too much of a tug in your neck, right? So you want to have these stable cotton or these poly belts that are not stretchy. But these have a tiniest bit of give that actually create a really nice effect. So just be careful with elastic bands. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this is like this. Let's see. Okay, camera skills. Okay, so I'm going to have this point of insertion, or the point where I connect my thing to the wall. So if it's to the door handle, that's the height that I measure. But here I'm going to use this height. So I have, I'm going to use another belt here to measure. Here's my measuring device. I'm going to measure this distance between the place where it connects and the floor. So it's this distance. I'm going to double that distance. Okay, so it's here. And I'm going to measure that distance on my mat. So I really want the mat to be centered. So centered on this, the place where I'm connecting, okay? And I'm going to measure twice the height. I'm going to measure it here, all right? And I'm going to put a little block here just to remind myself where that point was. Okay. Or I can leave the strap there now. So now when I come with my loop here, right, I need a loop. I want that to be right at this mark. Okay, so this loop hits right at that place where I measured. Okay, so I can remove it. So if I was doing it here, I would need a much longer distance. So I would measure the distance from the door to the ground. Okay, and then I would double that distance, right? And then, okay, I would double this, and this loop here would have to be a little bit longer. Okay, so that's where I would place this. Okay, if that makes sense. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down and I'm going to use this around my neck the exact same way that I showed you how to use the belt before. And I'll show you one more time just in case. Okay, so the belt will go like this. It'll go behind my head here, right in the occipital area, making sure that I don't hurt my ears. The belt will hold me like that. So hopefully that was visible with all the hair. Okay, and let's do this. Okay, so I come back and I lay down here. So this is the important part. Okay, this is the important part. I have to look back to the point where, to that place where it's connected, and I have to keep looking back. So I have to lift that chin, keep the chin up so I never tuck my chin to come forward, which is kind of an automatic reaction. Most people will bring the chin down and then the belt comes off and you don't get as nice of an effect. So lay down here, bring your hair out of the way, find your belt, and you're going to place that belt around your head here, and then you're going to look up at that place where you connected it, and you're going to come forward slowly, looking back. Then you let go, and you have a nice, a nice little tension here on the belt. So now what you do is you try to bring the skin of the shoulders back so that that skin isn't bunching up around your neck. Take a few breaths here, and then just sink in, kind of sink in. Your head is hovering right above the ground, just barely hovering. And then you bring the feet down, and you'll feel more tension when you bring the feet down. And keep looking up. And there you have it. You just have a little bit of a neck decompressor. Now, if you have more pain on the right or the left side, you can move here to one side, okay, and get a little bit more stretch on one side or the other. And I can also move, to my left, but if I move my head, I lose the belt, so keep the head up. Chin up. Okay, and then keep that chin up until you're ready to come out. So here I can stretch my right side a bit. And back to the center if I want to come out. Okay, and then bring the chin down. Hey, come on. Okay. So I hope you were able to see that. Okay. I hope that you were able to see that and that it makes sense. But it is an excellent way to just create a little space in the neck and release some of that tension. You don't necessarily have to have a stiff neck for this. If you need to just release tension or compression in your neck, again, after you've had it checked out, from a doctor, just to make sure there's nothing fractured or broken in your neck, then you would really need to see a doctor for that. But if it's just your, normal stiff neck that you get from muscular tension or something that's already familiar to you, give these a try. Let me know how it goes or if you have any questions. And I really do hope that it helps you release that tension in the back, in the neck, and just give you some tools to be able to use your yoga practice. Or if you don't have a yoga practice, but you want to try these out, try it nice and slowly, step by step, and maybe before you get that stiff neck. Sometimes having a stiff neck is really scary because it's so painful and so tight, but it is a great idea to start getting to know where that tightness is coming from. So, before starting, maybe take a few breaths, know that it will go away. Breathe into the tightness, start getting to know your pain, and then slowly start introducing these stretches and exercises so that you can start with your breath, without holding the breath. With your breath, you can slowly start releasing that pain and helping the neck to heal. So I hope you enjoyed this. See you next week at 11. I've received some of your requests for classes. I'll be working on those next time. And send me questions or come out here at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in California, 11:30 on Mondays. And you can ask me any questions live. If I can answer them, I will. So thank you so much for your support and see you in the next video.